Hey musicians, are you practicing too much? It's an honest question. Why I kind of got this question in my head was based on an interaction I had with an old friend from music school. We were both on a show a few weeks ago, and we hadn't seen each other for some time, and he kind of been following me starting back in music again, and he commented, "Man, you are playing a lot. You're kind of like in your Beatles in Hamburg phase where you are just doing so many gigs." He commented that it's like you're getting your 10,000 hours underneath your belt. And by 10,000 hours, I mean, it's a concept basically from Malcolm Gladwell's book Outliers, where essentially if you want to master a complex task, like playing music, you need to spend a minimum of 10,000 hours doing it. I was always aware that I need to spend a lot of time on my instruments. However, when I was younger, I spent most of that time in the practice room. And that is really valuable and essential, but what I was doing was just practicing to be good in the practice room. So one thing I've really learned over the past year or two here in Nashville, how valuable playing gigs is. Saying yes to every gig. Now, I've been an advocate of saying that if you're new in a town and you are trying to establish your network. But let's take the networking aspect out of it. Let's just talk about musical skills. And saying yes is still like hugely important. And for me, I said yes to all these gigs and I threw myself out there. I played on these stages with people I didn't know. I went and did these honky-tonk gigs, and I still do, which are essentially I'm playing 4 hours of random songs with 4 random people I've never met usually. If you're curious more about songs you need to know to play Nashville's honky tonk, check out this video right here. I'll also be making some more content about it in the future, but essentially you have to be a human jukebox. Over my past year or two of being a human jukebox, I feel like I've really taken my skills to a different level. Now, I haven't learned any great hot new licks. My chops aren't off the wall. But one skill I've really developed is kind of an internal callus, both an internal callus with my ear and an internal callus in my stomach. So I mean with my ear is the fact that, all right, I'm learning to play country music. I'm learning to play all these different styles of music that I never really grew up playing. After hearing all these songs for so long, you can kind of start realizing, oh, there's a variety of song structures, but I kind of know where it's going. But more importantly, building up that internal callus, you become less fearful, less, oh, what happens if I crash and burn? Because chances are you probably have crashed and burned and it sucked, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But developing that internal callus is really about like, oh, I can be on the stage and my monitors go out and I still got to keep playing. I could play 30 songs I don't know in an afternoon and have to find a way to make them work. I could play songs with people who are way less skilled than me and make it work. I can hang on and play gigs with people who are way more skilled than me and make it work. Sooner or later, we all want to get to some different level, whether that's being in a major recording session, being on a major stage. But when somebody says 3, 2, 1, go, and hits that red light in a major recording session, or the lights go up, 30,000 fans screaming in front of you and your monitors don't work and you still got to keep playing, if you get razzed by doing that in front of 50 to 100 people in a honky tonk, there's no way you're going to do it in a pressure cooker of a situation on an arena gig or in a recording session. So I really think a crucial part of development is just spending lots of time doing it. I mean, hell, even think about if you're a content creator like me doing YouTube. If you just do stuff over and over again, not mindlessly, but you're just throwing stuff out there, sooner or later you get a feel for it, you get a hang for it, you start learning what works, what doesn't work, what you want to do, what you don't want to do. And so as an example of this, I'm uploading this video of a gig from last week. I was at lunch, hanging out with some other drummer friends, and I literally had to leave 5 minutes after I got there because someone called me and said, hey, we need a last minute sub. So I left, I got my gear, and I went down and played a gig, and I played a 4-hour gig on a Wednesday afternoon. So it wasn't the most high pressure of situations, But oh, there were songs that I didn't know, and there were musicians I never played with. I recorded one of those songs that I kind of heard or knew before, but I never really played. I didn't know the form. I didn't know the way everyone was going to do it. Was it perfect? By no means. But I said, you know what? I'm going to throw up a camera and see what happens. Let's record this. You spend a lot of time capturing those moments. A lot of time exposing yourself to those moments where there are all these variables. You can really grow as a musician. So if there's one thing you take away from this, just put yourself out there. Sometimes if you say yes to a gig that you're going to grouse and grumble about, you know what? I got another opportunity to expose myself to some variables, like what if my, 3 of my strings break? Can I still play a song with that? What if my drums fall over? Can I still keep going? Because when you're doing this stuff on a smaller stage, it prepares you, just mentally and in terms of your guts, for when you're doing it on a larger stage. So if you're kind of interested in becoming a musician professional, if you already are a professional musician, you're thinking about working your way up, networking, feel free to like, follow, subscribe, where I talk a lot about this journey, going from one phase of music to the next. We're talking about the things that you don't always get to talk about in music school. If you find this helpful, share it with another musician. That would really help me keep going with this channel. Thanks for watching. Keep saying yes to these gigs. Things happen.